Let's get into main topic number one, shall we? And our first main topic today gets submitted to us by Val. And Val writes, "Good day, John. Godzilla vs. Kong has moved its release date again, this time up a few months from May to March. Yes, it has. This comes amidst news about an apparent deal between Warner Brothers and Legendary to allow the film to come out both in theaters and on HBO Max. Obviously, this was something WB should have done before announcing the move last year, but better late than never, I guess. Nevertheless, I'm still excited and hopeful for the film and the Monsterverse despite the corporate shenanigans behind the scenes. What are your thoughts?" All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, Val. And yes, it is true. We now have Godzilla versus Kong has actually moved up in an era where we have been getting so used to movies getting pushed back. And Jonas Tiger in the live chat, I love Rob Roy too. I thought that was great. But anyway, we are getting so used to seeing movies getting pushed back. We're actually seeing a movie getting pushed up, which is kind of different. This comes to us from the folks over at Deadline, who writes, "Warner Brothers, in the wake of making good with Legendary on the simultaneous release of Godzilla vs. Kong in theaters and HBO Max, will be releasing the movie on March 26th instead of May 21st. So that's basically a 2-month move, which is pretty great. It was reported last Friday that Warner Brothers and financier Legendary, which owns a majority of the movie, avoided a legal entanglement over the former's decision to take its entire 2021 slate and throw it day and date on its Frosh streaming service HBO Max. Warner has blocked a $200 million bid by Netflix to acquire the Monster Mash movie." All right, so this takes us into kind of the heart of it. And by the way, special thanks to Chris West, who sends in a super chat badge in the live chat there. Appreciate that, man. This gets us kind of into the heart of it. So if you guys remember, Netflix, I believe, was the one that actually put up an offer to Legendary and HBO for $200 million to acquire the rights. Now, there was no way Warner Brothers was going to go for that. They're not going to let one of their prime jewel movies get moved over to some other streaming network. They weren't going to allow that. But if you're Legendary Pictures and you're the one who put up the vast majority of the money, like 75% of the money that it took to make this movie, you're looking at Netflix, you're looking at HBO and say, okay, that's cool. Yeah, we're going to make more money in theaters. No problem. Good idea, Warner Brothers, says Legendary, because we want to make our money in theaters. Yeah, turning down that $200 million from Netflix. And then, without consulting Legendary at all, without having one single conversation with the company that actually paid to make this movie, Warner Brothers came out of nowhere and shocked everybody by making a public announcement that they were going to release Godzilla vs. Kong and all their 2021 films onto HBO Max. This obviously left the good folks over at Legendary very pissed off, and legal action was ensuing. Now, we talked a couple of weeks ago about the fact that we had heard that Warner Brothers and Legendary had decided to get together and they were going to negotiate a settlement. They were going to figure this out before it got to court. And the reports that we heard come out, and you guys remember these, the reports that we heard come out was that basically Legendary would allow Warner Brothers to release Godzilla vs. Kong on HBO Max and in theaters at the same time in exchange for $250 million. Now, this obviously, since, Legendary paid 75% of Godzilla vs. Kong's production budget, this would represent a big profit for Legendary. It would cost Warner Brothers an awful lot, but it would represent a good profit for Legendary. Well, apparently, it looks like everything's a go. It seems like these deals have been made. Now, it's going to be interesting to see a couple of things. Number one, it's going to be interesting to see what other little things Legendary got out of this. Was all Legendary was worried about was getting their money back and making some money? Maybe. But I have a feeling to get this deal done, and if I'm Legendary and I feel like Warner Brothers, my supposed partner, just tried to stab me in the back, I have a feeling Legendary may want a little bit more out of it. I think they may want a little bit more out of it than just the $250 million. Maybe this will also roll over and roll into what they want for Dune, because let's not forget, Godzilla vs. Kong isn't the only movie that Legendary bankrolled. The other movie that they obviously bankrolled was Dune, that they had high hopes for. And again, they financed it with the explicit understanding that it was going to go to theaters where they can really make some big money. So that's something they're still, so does it include the Dune deal? Are they going to negotiate Dune separately? Who knows? But as of right now, we're getting Godzilla vs. Kong in March. It's moved up a couple of months. You guys know what I think. I still think this whole move by Warner Brothers and HBO Max is a clear sign of complete and utter desperation on their part. It pissed off all their allies in the business. I think it's a bad move. I think they're limiting the income they can get. But on the good side, we're going to get to watch Godzilla vs. Kong in March. So, hey, whatever. It's going to make me happy. And by the way, I should kind of point out that I am not super excited for Godzilla vs. Kong. At least not as excited for a movie called Godzilla vs. Kong as I should be. And the reason I'm not as excited for Godzilla vs. Kong as I should be is the fact that I just didn't think Godzilla King of the Monsters was all that great. I was so excited for Godzilla King of the Monsters. Now, Robert Meyer Burnett loved it, and that's great. I thought it was kind of a poor film with some really good tentpole moments, some really good set pieces, some big monster action, but it was too little, too few. Didn't make up for how bad the rest of the movie was. But anyway, that was just my take. But I'm hoping Godzilla vs. Kong can rectify that and make up for it. Question is, what do you guys think about that? Are you excited about Godzilla vs. Kong moving up? Do you really not care all that much? Are you excited about it? Jump down into the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys.